Well, howdy friends, Brian Flechsig, Matter of Outfitters in the Midwest Fly Fishing Schools, and welcome back to another episode in our fly casting series. And you know, it dawned on me recently that a very, very important cast we have yet to cover in the modern era of Matter of Outfitters. We have done this though, and it's kind of a funny story. We did film some stuff on the reach cast, the importance of it and how to do it. And it was literally about 3 miles downstream of me at the confluence of Spruce Creek and the Little Juniata, and it was probably 1998 or 99. In fact, you might be looking at some footage from that back in the day. I might look a little bit younger, just a little bit. But anyway, today I want to talk about a very, very important cast, primarily on trout streams when you're trying to achieve a drag-free drift. And again, that's called the reach cast, especially when I'm fishing a dry fly, but also when I'm nymph fishing. A reach cast is an absolutely critical cast. And the best way to describe a reach cast is it's an aerial mend. Now, we've talked about mending before. I'm going to show you a little bit here on the water. But a reach cast is basically placing the line on the water in the first place through the cast instead of making a straight cast and then mending. So it's basically an aerial mend. But let's step back to Spruce Creek here and I'll show you a little bit about what I'm talking about. If you make a straight cast, so I've got a dry fly on, and for the most part, I want that dry fly to ride naturally with the current. And so if I make a perfectly straight cast like this, you're gonna see that immediately the stream starts, it grabs onto the butt section of my leader, it grabs onto my fly line, and that starts pulling, it forms what's called a belly. And it immediately starts dragging my fly, which is gonna be unnatural in most cases to the fish. Let me do that again, let out a little bit more line, should be a little more dramatic. You see immediately that the current grabs my leader and starts to pull or skate that fly across the surface. So a reach cast, so one of the things you can do to combat that is to mend. And mending doesn't always do a perfect job. Mending can also disturb the water. The fish can feel the vibration of the fly line flying up in the air and landing back on the water. So instead of making a straight cast and then mending so that my line is upstream of the fly, now allowing it a natural drag-free drift, I'm going to literally put that mend in the air. So the fly is going to land there and my leader and my fly line are going to land upstream. So truly now the first thing that the fish sees is the fly entering his window of opportunity. So I mend in the air, making sure that the fly is the first thing that's going to head downstream. That was a bad one, sorry. So I literally reached, that one was not good enough. There we go. And that way it takes it a minute or more for that line to catch up and now pull the fly. And I can then add some mends in there, but getting that reach cast in the first place so that the line and the butt section of my leader land upstream of the fly. Now, if the current were going that way, okay, right now the river's flowing that way, as you can see. If the current were going that way, I would do the opposite. Just make the line and leader go this way so that they land upstream, again, the river flowing that way. So a reach cast is executed by literally kind of pointing the fly where you want it to go, and then you're gonna reach across your body, either across your body like this, and you sweep that line and the leader into position so that they land like that. Of course, I'm exaggerating my body movement a little bit so you can see it. So I call that the across the body reach cast, and my rod tip will almost wind up directly upstream, okay? And then you see the leader and the fly line are upstream of the fly. The opposite is an outside reach cast where you're gonna reach out, okay? So you're reaching away from your body like this, almost extending your arm, but again, that would be if the current were flowing that way. So again, your rod tip winds up pointing upstream. So it takes a little bit of practice. It's almost like a Belgian cast where you just have continuous pull on the fly and you sweep it forward, but you're gonna still want that little bit of punch with your thumb to get the fly to go to the target. Once you've punched with your thumb and that fly is heading where you want it, then you just sweep your rod and lay that line into position as such. There we go, that's a good one. And then of course, put the line under your index finger and follow along. And always talk to your drift. Make sure you're paying attention to your drift. There, I've got the line and the butt section of the leader upstream, and I'm making a good drift. So there's the outside reach cast, and then there's the across the body reach cast, and the outside reach cast where you reach outside of your body. Just an absolutely critical cast when you're fishing any trout stream and you're trying to make something float dead drift, which is traditional dry fly fishing with mayflies, potentially caddis flies, and such. And then of course, same thing for nymphs. I'm gonna do the same thing with a nymph rig. That reach cast is absolutely critical and something that you've got to practice. So if you ever have any questions, friends, pick up the phone and give us a call. Shoot us an email at admin@madriveroutfitters.com, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the like button, register for our newsletter, and stay tuned. We've got a ton more fly fishing and fly tying content coming your way.